Hi there, Greg Van Beek. This is Nancy O'Dell, and I wanted to say congratulations on 500 episodes of Nostalgia Radio Time. That is awesome. And you're also celebrating 10 years. I mean, that's quite the anniversary. Very impressive, Greg. I love me some oldies but goodies.
Once I had a secret love. Hi, I'm Lori Morgan, and if you love pop standards as much as I do, you'll want to tune in each week to Nostalgia Radio Time, hosted by my friend Greg Van Beek.
Go, Joe, go!
Hi everyone, this is Katie Couric, and I want to welcome you to one of my favorite programs, Nostalgia Radio Time, hosted by my friend Greg Van Beek.
Thank you, Katie Kirk, and welcome to show number 540 of Nostalgia Radio Time, and a very special edition it is indeed because it's our annual celebration of all things Harry Lillis Crosby. Yes, it's our Bing Crosby birthday bash, right here on Nostalgia Radio Time. Bing Crosby was born on May 3rd, 1903 in Tacoma, Washington, and he passed away on October 14th of 1977 just outside Madrid, Spain. An unparalleled 51-year career in show business to span every medium of the entertainment world, beginning in vaudeville, working his way up to records, to movies, radio, television, concert appearances. He did it all, and he did it well. And we're going to be talking with someone who not only knew Bing well, but also was a fan of Bing's and worked with Bing, and is equally as legendary in the field of entertainment as he was. And that is the legendary Carol Burnett. We were very fortunate to spend some time speaking with Carol earlier this year about her work with Bing and her memories of Bing. Of course, she is best known for her groundbreaking Emmy Award-winning comedy variety series, The Carol Burnett Show, which originally aired on CBS TV from 1967 until 1978. And of course, through syndication, it really has never been off of TV. She has achieved much success on stage and film and varying genres, including dramatic and comedy roles. In 2005, Miss Burnett was recognized as one of America's most cherished entertainers and was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for enhancing the lives of millions of Americans and for her extraordinary contributions to American entertainment by President George W. Bush. With a career spanning over 60 years, there was indeed an overwhelming amount of material that we could have covered during the brief time we had to talk, but our main topic of conversation concerned Bing Crosby, her memories of him, her friendship with him, her television work with him. And for the record, Bing appeared as a guest twice on The Carol Burnett Show, November 10th of 1969 and November 3rd of 1971, and Carol appeared as a guest star on two of Bing's specials for NBC. One was titled Bing and Carol Together Again for the First Time, along with Juliet Prowse and Roy Clark, which aired on December 17th, 1969, and Bing Crosby and His Friends, along with Bob Hope and Pearl Bailey, which aired on February 27th, 1972. So it is indeed a pleasure and an honor to welcome Carol Burnett to Nostalgia Radio Time, and to thank her for agreeing to reminisce with me a bit about the one and only Bing Crosby.
Yeah, he was one and only, yeah.
What are some of your earliest memories of Bing? Did your parents have his records, or did you listen to the Kraft Music Hall on radio?
My earliest memories are going to the movies with my grandmother, and we lived a block north of Hollywood Boulevard. And we would go to the movies 2 or 3 times a week. We saved our pennies. And one of our favorite things was going to the Paramount Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. And that's where all of Bing's movies played. And so I think my first memories are of Bing with Bob Hope in all the road pictures. You know,
right.
And the fun that they had, and not only could he sing up a storm, as we all know, but he was funny, and I remember he and Bob would ad lib a lot of stuff, which I'm sure wasn't even written in the scripts, and they had this great rapport, and and then I remember when Frank Sinatra came on the scene. And there was a thing about who's the best singer. There was a contest or something. I remember hearing on the radio, and my grandmother kept saying, "Bing is king."
I think they call it the swooner versus the crooner.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Well,
That's
I mean,
not like me. I wouldn't say a thing like that.
You wouldn't?
I'm more the punchy, aggressive, intuitive, resourceful type of boy.
Well,
I'm in there...
For once in your life, you can give up, can't you?
Give up?
Give up.
Who the hell sent you here, Sinatra?
No. Sinatra had nothing to do with this, and I wouldn't talk that way about Sinatra.
I don't mean to malign Mr. Sinatra, because I'm a great fan of his, a great admirer of his private and public life.
And furthermore, singers like Sinatra come once in a lifetime.
Why did he have to come along in my lifetime?
Is that so?
He'll never outlast hope.
Bob Hope?
I hope.
Listen, that boy is really a strong boy.
You think he's a powerful
He's
boy?
a real
He's a microphone with a fringe on top. That's
Is
what
that
he is,
so?
yes.
He's got muscles.
Muscles?
Yes, real
Well
muscles.
concealed.
Is that
Yes,
so?
I saw him playing with a yo-yo one day, and I want to tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
The yo-yo was standing still, and Frankie was going up and down, up and...
It's probably true that I heard you go around all you do
I
is
don't know.
knock
I don't mean to
Sinatra.
knock him. We're great friends. I
You
want
really are?
to scotch the impression that's become prevalent that we don't like one another because we're really great friends.
Really?
Last fall, we were going out in vaudeville together, Frank and I.
that so?
We were going to play all the theaters and do a nice double act, sing duets. Isn't that grand?
Really?
Yes.
What were you going to call the act?
Breathless and sexless.
Well, who is who?
We know.
We know. But you made a whole big issue out of it.
It was a thrill, when I got my show, to have him on. I mean, here I was a kid growing up and watching him in the movies, and then, oh my heavens, to have a dream come true, to be able to know him, to meet him, to work with him, and to sing with him was absolutely, one of my favorite memories of all time in my career.
So you really hadn't met Bing or had any contact with him in the years prior to the first time he was a guest star on your TV show back in 1969.
That's right. And then
Wow.
I did a couple of his specials, and so
Right.
we really had a good rapport together, and he was so sweet, and he was not only, could he sing and be in the finales and do his bit on my show, but he was also we put him in sketches. And of course, he was very funny.
Yeah.
And I also remember being happy. Of course, this was before my show and everything, when I was still watching him on the screen. I was so happy when he won the Academy Award for Going My Way, yeah.
Greatest pleasure I've ever had to present to you the Best Acting Award for 1944 for your wonderful, superb performance. Superb.
Oh, my heavens.
That's the best word I can dig up at the moment. In Going My Way.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Sing my congratulations.
I couldn't be more surprised if I won the Kentucky Derby, really.
Also, another kind of a tie-in was I remember when I was doing his show, his wife, Catherine Grant, came on the set, and Catherine Grant and I had gone to UCLA together.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, her name was Catherine Grandstaff, and I remember she got into something like a Golden Circle, I can't remember, at Paramount with all these beautiful young actresses, and she met Bing, and the rest is history.
Well, it is indeed a small world. How did that first guest appearance on your show come about? Was it your choice to ask Bing, or did someone on your staff suggest him as a guest?
Well, we asked. My husband was producing the show, and and we go down a list of people, and of course Bing would be number one. We said, "Oh my gosh, let's call and see if he would be willing to come on our show." And when he said yes, I was over the moon. And it was an interesting thing too about him was we would have we'd read the script on a Monday, and then go right after the script reading, we'd go into music rehearsals. And we had already sent Bing a tape recording of a song and a medley that we wanted him to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew it. He had listened to it over the weekend, came right in, and he didn't read music at all. He just he could hear it. He had a great ear, and he had already memorized the medley, so that Monday we hardly had to rehearse it at all. he already knew it,
And I had heard that from others about him too, that he had almost a photographic memory. He could take a script home over the weekend, and he'd be letter perfect. He'd know not only his part but everybody else's part too.
Exactly, and also he had naturally a great ear for music. So all he had to hear was a song once, and he knew it. He nailed it, and so we had a good time. And then one time, we were doing a sketch where he was in the Brown Derby and I was playing this obnoxious fan, and he didn't know it, but we tricked him and had Bob Hope come in to be the punchline of the sketch and being cracked up, you know. And
he was genuinely surprised, yeah.
Oh, totally, yeah. And Bob was so sweet, you know, and we hid him, you know, behind the scenes for the whole show until that moment. And well, I think you can see it on YouTube. I'm not sure.
I did see it, and it was so funny because at the end, the sketch fades out, and then they came back. They had the foresight to keep the camera rolling, and they had some wonderful ad-libs together after the sketch was over.
Yeah, something about having his suit made or something like that.
Yeah, he said, Bob said, how do you like this suit? I had it made in Glendale, and Bing said, where were you at the time?
Right. Oh, there they were doing their ad-lib.
Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby.
You're right all 3 times.
Gee, imagine me serving you, the star of stars.
Thank you, dear.
Can we have menus?
Yeah.
I know everything about you. You were born in Tacoma, Washington, right?
Right.
Then you moved to Spokane and you sang with the Rhythm Boys. It's Street to Beach Feet on the Mississippi. And then you went to Hollywood. Ta-da-da-ta-da-da, Tinseltown, right? And then you remember the year 1936? How about this one? Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven? Boom, 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 boom.
That's not bad. Now, could you sing the menu for us?
Sing the menu! What a sense of humor! Sing the menu! Oh, say, Mr. Crosby, I wonder, you see, I collect souvenirs, and I wonder if I could have this knife, because you just touched this very knife.
Well, here, take the set.
Oh, God. Oh, wow. Oh,
Open
that's
up
just...
housekeeping, yeah.
Oh, gee, thanks so much. You know, it's true. The bigger they are, the nicer they are. Oh, here, let me get rid of these breadcrumbs.
Hey!
Mr. Crosby, I was wondering if when you're finished with that, if I could have your pipe as a souvenir.
Well, this is my favorite pipe, really.
Oh, yeah, well, I understand. That's okay. I'll just take the ashes.
Are you all through?
Knock it off, buddy. I'm on fire. Wait a minute.
Can we order now?
Oh, yeah. Right away, as soon as I get Mr. Crosby's autograph. Would you sign it for me, please, Mr. Crosby?
Yeah.
Huh?
Got pencil?
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Be glad.
There you go. Now, could you put it to Peggy?
To Peggy.
No, wait, cancel that. Make it to Dear Peggy.
Cancel Peggy?
Yeah, Dear Peggy. Dearest Peggy.
Dearest
Yeah.
Peggy.
My favorite waitress in the whole wide world.
My favorite waitress?
Yeah. One of the prettiest girls I have ever seen, anytime, anywhere, any place. Oh, and let me see. And I consider myself to be one of her biggest admirers. Hey, Mr. Crosby, do you think I could get a picture?
Well, I don't have one with me.
Oh, that's okay. I always take my own anyway.
Really?
That's all you have to worry about right there. Okay, now let's have that look, Mr. C. Yes, sir. Let's have that old Crosby smile. That's not it.
Why not? The one I've been using all my life.
No, Bing, you're too tense. You got to know how to relax in front of a camera. Wait. The pipe's in the wrong side.
I generally wear it on this side.
Wrong, you look better this way. Listen to me. Okay, here we go. Now, say cheese.
Kraft.
Here. All right.
Can I have your home address, Mr. Crosby?
What for?
Well, you're going to want a couple of copies of these pictures, aren't you?
Oh, I'll pick it up the next time I'm in here.
Oh, okay. Well, I just can't thank you enough. You've been so adorable and so generous. I really appreciate it. You're one of my all-time favorites.
Thank you. Now, could we order?
Oh, sure. Wait a minute. Hey, don't bug me. Here comes the biggest star of them all.
I hope you're not hungry.
How are you?
I feel pretty good, darling. I feel fine, and I'm just around looking for work, and I'm glad you found something.
Well, I tell you what,
a little walk. I know you're down to your last city, and I'm not. nice to see you on your feet, I'll tell you that. Isn't it great?
Not for long.
No, but I think it's beautiful, and you look wonderful. You really do.
Thank you.
Where'd you come? You came right from the Plasters?
Exactly.
That's a very nice. These are coming back, you know. Yes. You like this? I had this made for me in Glendale.
Where were you at the time?
I was just.
It was just a thrill. My one regret is that my grandmother never lived to see this happen, you know, because she would have gotten such a big kick out of seeing me with Bing, you know. That was that would have been a thrill for her.
Well, you joined Bing on this first show for a clever little song and dance number called Flattery, which I think you again used on your final episode in 1978.
That's right.
1969. Here's a man who holds a special place in all our hearts.
Ah, you and your fancy flattery. You're laying it on for spite.
You're big and strong.
You figure you'll charge my battery, and I'll get too hot to fight.
You're handsome.
Now it's time you were took in tow.
Yes, I know.
That flattery stuff don't go.
No.
I'll follow you anywhere. Now why do I get these crazy chills? I ought to be roped and tied.
Your voice is great.
As sure as there's green in dollar bills, you're taking me for a ride.
You're wrong, it's love.
But somehow, I just don't care. So flatter away, but keep those tributes fair.
You're so debonair.
You notice, flattery may get us somewhere.
But for me, the real musical highlight and something I would dearly love to see from that 1969 show was the medley of songs from Paramount Pictures that brought together two icons of popular music on your show, Bing Crosby and Ella Fitzgerald.
I just felt like I died and gone to heaven because I loved to sing with people. I was always afraid to sing. I didn't like to sing by myself so much, but I loved the medleys and being able to sing with people like Bing and Ella and Perry Como and Edie Gourmet and Steve Lawrence. I just those were some of my favorite moments in the show. You know, we had wonderful special material writers who would put together really fantastic medleys. And I remember when he said, people who put this together are really good, you know, because he was such a consummate musician.
Oh, indeed he was. The second time you had Bing on your show in 1971, you performed a fantastic medley of a then-new Carpenters hit song, Sing, along with a staple of the Judy Garland repertoire, Get Happy. This featured some very intricate counterpoints and little asides tossed in between the lines, and it was all set to a bossa nova beat. I think one of the lines went,
I don't sing that way now, get Bob Goulet now.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, I'd forgotten that. That's right. It
was just brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to keep you waiting, Bing. It just took me a little extra time to get into this dress.
Pause, time in thy flight. A vision of such loveliness appears within my sight.
Where?
Such diffident humility is quite a rare delight.
I don't know what you're saying, but go on.
Were I a poet, panegyric odes I would compose to catalog each virtue from your head down to your toes.
I blush in living color at each phrase.
Mere words do not suffice to who sing your praise. I'm your humble servant, ever in your debt.
I've got one. Would you acquiesce?
Good word, fine choice.
To a brief duet.
I acquiesce.
Let's sing.
You name the tune.
Sing a song.
I love to croon.
Sing out loud.
I don't sing that way now.
Sing out strong.
Get Bob Goulet now.
Sing out good things, not bad.
A spirited roundelay brimming with zest.
Sing out happy, not sad.
That's really the kind I do best. Let's sing. Sing a song. And make it simple to last your whole life long. And let's make sure it's good enough for everyone else to hear. We're gonna sing a song. La 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 la. Boom 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 boom.
Forget your troubles and just get happy. You better chase all your cares away.
Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day. The sun is shining, come on, get happy. The Lord is waiting to take your hand. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. We're going to the promised land.
We're
headed across the river, wash your sins away with the tide. You'll discover life is peaceful on the other side. Forget your troubles and just get happy. You better chase all your blues away. Shout hallelujah,
hallelujah, get happy.
Happy music's here to stay.
La 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 la
la la la la la.
A little higher.
La 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 la. Let's sing. Sing a song.
Sing a song.
Sing out loud.
Sing out loud.
And sing out strong. And let's make sure it's good enough for everyone else to hear.
Everybody sing.
Yes, we will. Sing a song. Sing it in the morning.
Sing a song.
We're gonna sing it in the evening.
Sing a song.
Sing a little louder.
Sing a song.
Like Harry Belafonte, sing a little song.
Sing, sing, sing.
Bing liked to do reciprocal arrangements, so I suspect that as a result of him being on your show, you agreed to be a guest on his NBC Christmas special in 1969 along with Roy Clark and Juliet Prowse, and I think the absolute highlight for me on this show was the wonderful duet you did with Bing on the Kander and Ebb song from Cabaret titled Married. You harmonized so beautifully together and even did a little ballroom dance together. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
How the world can change. It can change like that due to one little word, married.
See a palace rise from a two-room flat due to one little word, married. And the old despair that was often there suddenly ceases to be.
For you wake one day,
Look around and say, somebody wonderful married me.
How the world can change. It can change like that due to one little word, married. See a palace rise from a two-room flat due to one little word, married.
And the old despair that was often there suddenly ceases to be.
for you wake one day,
Look around and say, somebody wonderful married me.
And that could have been a number from one of Bing's movies.
I know.
You had to felt like a leading lady there.
Well, the nice thing too is, today, unfortunately, if we were going to do something like that, the network and the writers and every writer is a producer now. Everybody has to have their input and keep redoing and retaping. We just did it like a live show, like a real performance, and you couldn't top it. Why redo it? I've been on shows recently, not too recent, but where it's like 22 minutes of show and they take 5 hours to tape it, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You don't need to do that. And that was the way Bing was. We would do it, and it would be in the can, and that would be okay. Let's go on to the next thing. So so we weren't there till 1, 2, or 3 o'clock in the morning, the way they do stuff now.
Well, in general, how many days of rehearsal and shooting did a typical episode of the Carol Burnett Show involve?
We would start on Monday and tape on Friday. We'd have a run through Wednesday for the crew and the writers and all, and then we would have a camera rehearsal on Thursday, orchestra Thursday night, and then Friday would be our long day, which would start at 10 o'clock in the morning. Then we'd do a dress rehearsal, which we would tape with an audience at around 5 o'clock, and then they would leave, and we'd make changes or cuts or edits or whatever, and then have a new audience come in at 8 o'clock, and we would tape our full show with the opening, with the guest stars numbers, with the finales, with all the sketches. We'd be out of there in about 2 hours, which would be the time you would go to see a Broadway show. So our audience never got bored sitting there because I was absolutely adamant that we don't keep the audience waiting. So I just say we've got to make quick changes, costume changes, quick scenery changes, and and when they had to make a tape stop while we were changing, the orchestra would play to keep the audience up, but we never let them sit more than maybe 5 minutes while we were changing scenery and clothes. And so what you hear is not canned laughter. You are hearing an audience that's not tired, and it was funny. We would finish, and then we'd finish in time, and we would take our guest stars out to dinner at Chasen's restaurant, which was a very famous restaurant in Beverly Hills. Every Friday night, we'd have our table there, and we would take our guest stars to dinner. So we had a life, and the guests were never tired. They knew what they had to do, and it was like a school schedule during the week. 2 o'clock on Tuesdays to 3 o'clock or 3:30 would be a dance rehearsal. 3:30 to 5 would be a sketch rehearsal. Then you'd go home, and you come back the next day, and our guests knew exactly when to report for a sketch, when to report for a musical number, and when they could go home. So we never really worked our writers used to say it's the only show they ever worked on where they didn't have to use their headlights going home. It was we had a life, and so many of our guests they've been on other shows and they've never had a show been on a show that organized. And I think maybe a Bing like that because that's the way he worked, Right. And so
you like to be prepared and get it done,
Exactly, and have fun, and then that's a wrap,
I was going to ask you, did you tape the dress rehearsals too? Because there's one portion on the show where Bing, he did a solo of "Put a Little Love in Your Heart," and some people have been wondering. He's dressed very casually. He's got his hat on. He's got just a sport jacket on, no necktie. We thought maybe that you used the rehearsal take in the show instead of. Yeah.
We might have, because we did tape it, and if he or we, I don't remember that particular one,
Mm-hmm.
Well, and if he thought he did better on that one, say, okay, we'll just show that one. You
sure.
know?
Okay. Well, that clears up that mystery.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bing Crosby. It is really a great thrill to have you on our show.
Well, it's a thrill to be here, Carol.
Thank you. That's really interesting. Is that your family coat of arms or something?
Well, practically. This is the escutcheon of the Pittsburgh Pirates. You know, we won the World Series this year.
That's right, yeah.
Pumping it up a little, yeah.
I'm really happy about that. They're my favorite football team.
Good night, Gracie.
Sing,
Looking through the morning papers, all the news is bad. Headlines shout of strife and struggle, hate becomes a fad. It's time to reinstate the golden rule and teach it to the kids in every school. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand. Put a little love in your heart. Take a good look around, and if you're feeling down, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and for me, if you agree with me to love. You gotta love thy neighbor. Walk up and say, I'll be you. Gee, but I'm glad to see you, pal. How's tricks? Tell me what's new. Love thy neighbor. Offer to share his burden. Just tell him to say the word, and you're gonna see him through. Especially if there should be a beautiful girl next door. You just say to the girl next door, now don't think I'm bold, but Crosby told me to love thy neighbor, and you will find your labor a great deal easier. Life will be breezier if you put some love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Someone's got to start, so put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Just put a little love in your heart. It's time you made a start, so put a little love in your heart.
Nicer, Greg. He was so laid back. You know, what you saw was what he was.
And that was actually the episode where you did the As Did Stomach Turn sketch where Bing appeared as Father Sarge.
Yeah.
Remember that? He was dressed as a priest, and he looked like he stepped off the set of The Bells of St. Mary's. He had the boater hat on. And
I know.
Why, it's Father Sarge, the Canoga Falls policeman who became a priest. Come in.
Thank you, Marion.
What brings you here?
Well, I wanted to thank you for coming to church last Sunday, and I want to give you this ticket for double parking.
But, Father, you're not a policeman any longer.
I know, but old habits, you know, are hard to break.
Yes, I understand. I guess you just keep slipping back into the old groove.
Oh, it can be very embarrassing, Marion. Last week, I raided my bingo game.
How
How unfortunate.
Well, I've got to go along now.
You know, Father, someday I hope that you will be the one who will officiate at my wedding.
I'll do the best I can. I'll pray for a miracle.
Did it take any persuading to get him to do costumes like that, or was he game for that stuff?
No. Oh, he was very game. And when he played a drunkard, remember it was where I was his daughter. It was one of those old-fashioned
melodramas. Yeah,
melodramas, and that was a very elaborate piece of work. And he had a great time doing it. He loved it.
Oh, Father, are we not happy now that you have sworn off demon rum?
Oh, yes, my dear daughter. Pray continue at the piano. Oh, the arch cunning of a drunkard.
Oh, yes, we're lifting our spirits.
Spirits.
Lifting our spirits.
Spirits.
Lifting our spirits every day. Oh, yes, we're lifting our spirits.
Spirits.
Lifting our spirits.
Spirits.
Mother dear, since you went away. Why, something is amiss with the piano. Gasp! Demon rum! Oh, Father, how could you?
Oiled again.
Oiled again. Oh, horrid vice.
Daughter.
Father, you have lost your employment. We are in debt to the bank. The cupboard is bare. We are in constant hunger and poverty. And now demon rum threatens to spoil all this happiness.
Then I shall give up demon rum.
Good, Father.
I'll switch to demon gin.
Oh, God, no. You promised dear departed mother that you would never touch that infernal poison again.
Ah, yes. I remember the vow she made me take. I shall take this instrument of the devil and throw it into the flames.
Yes.
Well, was there a special buzz on the set of your show whenever word got around that Bing was going to appear? I mean, did he endear himself to the cast and the crew, and were they just as in awe of him as you were, I'm sure?
He was, and you know, one other nice thing too was he memorized a lot of the crew's names, so that
wow.
you know, yeah, he'd come in like Thursday especially because that's when we had the crew and the cameraman and all of that. So he would learn their names. So by the time he did that, then Friday would come in to tape. He knew their names. How you doing, Bill? You know.
And I'd heard he did that years ago at Paramount when he was making the movies. He knew the electricians' names and the grips' names.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. There was no one. I know they can't say a man did, but he was. There was never that kind of thing about him. There was no diva-isms about him at all.
Okay. You're breaking up just a little bit, Carol. Hello?
Hello?
I'm here. Can you hear me yet?
Hello?
Well, at this point in our conversations, Carol's cell phone was breaking up, and I asked her if she could call me back on her landline, which she did, and I'm so thankful she did because it led to an art meets life moment for me and a kind of a dream come true because I was able to have my own real-life Mrs. Wiggins moment. Give a listen.
You know, when we were trying, I totally lost you, but in between the breakup, all I could hear was you saying, hello? And I got a flashback to Mrs. Wiggins with the intercom.
That's funny. That's right.
So that was well worth it.
But getting back to Bing Crosby, the final TV show you did with Bing was as a guest on his 1972 NBC variety special with Bob Hope and Pearl Bailey titled Bing Crosby and Friends. And Nick Perito was the music director on this show, and he was a dear friend of mine. Do you remember Nick?
Oh, my God, he was so great. Yes. Yeah.
Well, on that show, you did a number with Bing that you had recorded for an album you had out at that time called Saturday Morning Confusion. Do you remember that song?
Oh, I sure do.
Yeah,
and we did it on like a stairway.
Right.
A spiral staircase.
And there was a lot of words to that song. They came along at a pretty fast pace, and Bing handled that with ease. He just breezed right through it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Was I going up or coming down?
Oh, I think down, because I was going up. Or was I? Oh, I started
down there with us?
I don't know. My head just isn't on straight. Reminds me of Saturday mornings at my house when all the kids are home.
Oh, I know what you mean. Utter confusion, isn't it?
Here they come.
Look out.
Warming up. I hear the pitter-patter little people on the living room rug.
Ooh, woe is me. There goes the TV. Now it's Popeye and Pluto, Batman, Bozo.
Don't spill the cornflakes, they'll break for lunch break.
Home from the office, why did I stop to have a beer with the boys? Now my head's bound to pop.
It's Saturday morning confusion. If you think you can sleep, it's illusion. Cause you'll probably get a rude intrusion from Harry the dog. Harry the dog is as big as can be. Harry the dog had puppies last week. We couldn't tell if it's a he or a she.
Now we know.
It's Saturday morning confusion. If I could just get to the bathroom and get a cool rag and an aspirin to help how I feel.
Here come the twins and they're screaming at me.
What is the deal? Who turned off the TV?
Go ask your mother and quietly, cause your father's not well. There he is.
Who?
Cousin Jack. He's got the leaf break toolkit, that's it till I get it all back.
Hanging around our yard.
All the time.
Snooping in our garage.
That's him.
I tolerate him because he's my cousin, he's nice to the kids, and Harry just loves him. It's Saturday morning confusion. If I could just hide in the attic, cause I can hear the kids yell and take us all to the show.
Yes, I'll take the whole neighborhood to the show. I'll go out in the back where the money tree goes, and I'll grab me a handful and off to the show we'll go.
It's Saturday morning confusion. If I could just get a transfusion, or maybe go hide in the bedroom till 5 o'clock.
Let it be known that at 5 the TV is going to be tuned to the game of the week, and that goes for the kids and the dogs and the whole family.
It's Saturday morning confusion. It's Saturday morning confusion.
Day is done.
Oh,
Cousin Jack. In the yard cooking steaks on a grill that we'll never get back. The twins in front of the TV.
Harry with his family.
Sis on a date.
Mom at the door smiles as she surveys the sight.
For the first time today, the kingdom is quiet. Lord, let us thank you for Saturdays, and may they remain my friends. Cause we love them so much. Keep you strong till they're grown. And next Saturday then, we'll do it again.
Do you recall if your paths crossed with Bing after this 1972 show during the remaining 5 years of his life until he passed away in 1977?
No, not really. I wish they had, but no, after that I never really saw him again.
He started doing concerts in 76 and 77, and in fact, your writers, Ken and Mitzi Welch, wrote his opening number. He did a song called Feels Good.
Well, they were our best. They were our best special material writers. Nobody could touch what they could do. They were just brilliant.
No. It was a great piece of material.
Yeah. He might have met Ken and Mitzi when he did my show. Yeah, because I do remember he was very impressed with our musical writers. So that probably was how he got them to do his show.
Because 2 years later he did an almost identical special. He had Bob Hope and Pearl Bailey, and instead of you, he had Sandy Duncan instead.
Oh, great!
That was the show that he used that number for. Feels Good.
I see. Yeah.
Well, I know we're quickly running out of time, Carol, but I'd just like to switch gears for a moment or two, if I could, and just throw a few names at you of some other musical guests you had on the Carol Burnett Show over the years, just to get your impression of them, or maybe a memory or two. For instance, you mentioned Perry Como a while earlier, and I think he was on your program as well in 1969.
I remember that was the only week I missed 4 days of rehearsal. I had the flu.
Oh.
And so I couldn't go in. I went in Monday morning and we read, and I had a temperature, and Perry was so sweet, and he went to our executive producer. He said, if Carol can't make the show Friday, he said, I'll be happy to host it and be the guest host for the show. But I was able to, I was better. So I was able to be there on Friday and to be with him and to sing with him. And he, again, so laid back and so sweet. And so, yeah, he was, there were so many of them, Greg, that were, all of them I loved. I loved working.
Oh, yeah. Like Mel Torme you had on a number of times.
Oh, Mel, yeah. Yeah, we did some complicated medleys, Mel and I. And again, most of them were written by Ken and Mitzi Welch. And he was also very good in sketches. He was a good comedic actor, so we used him a lot. Uh-huh.
Later on, he had a recurring role on that TV series Night Court, and he was very good.
That's right, yeah, right.
Right. The Addicted Mole, I think we mentioned he was on there for a number of times. And
beautiful voice. Steve Lawrence was one of my favorite guests. We had him on something like 39 times.
I believe that. He was wonderful in the sketches, not just a great vocalist, but he was so funny.
When we went into syndication, they cut all the music, and we were just in syndication. It was just a half hour of the sketches.
Right.
And Steve told me one time he and Edie were in an airport, and these teenage girls ran up to him and said, "Oh, you're that funny guy on the Burnett show." They had no idea that he sang.
Yeah, it's too bad some of those great numbers couldn't be shown on TV again. That would make a great special, I think.
I know.
Some of the musical numbers from the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, I know. Musical comedy was my first love, so that was always a thrill for me. Yeah.
And I think actually, didn't Bernadette Peters make one of her first TV appearances on your show?
Yes. In fact, Bernadette was the first person we signed. She wasn't the first person that was on the first show, but she was the first person we asked to be on our show. And she was 19 or 20 years old. In fact, I just had dinner with her a couple of nights ago in Palm Springs.
Oh, wonderful.
Because she's working there. I think she's doing a show, either did one last night and tonight. And I was there because I did a couple of my shows, Q&As there last weekend. And I stayed over to have dinner with Bernadette because she was coming in. So we had a lovely dinner Sunday night together, and we go back a long ways. I think you had Peggy Lee on a couple times too. I had her granddaughter on my show. Oh yeah, Peggy was a lot of fun, and in fact, we did a whole finale of just with her songs. Right, she wrote some great songs too. Songs. So we did a whole finale on her songs. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to keep you, but one more person I have to bring up, and because we just lost her not too long ago, and she was a regular on your show. I think she played Eunice's sister, Ellen. That would be Betty White. Betty, yeah. Right. Oh, well, I was just hoping, she could, God bless her, I was on her 90th birthday celebration, and I remember I said, Betty, I just want to be with you 10 years from now so that we can celebrate your 100th. And she was so close. She was close. But we adored her, and I first met her way back when I was doing Password with Alan Ludden before they were married. Oh, right, yeah, back in the 50s. And that's when I first met Betty, and then after they got married and we all lived out here in California, they would have parties, and my husband and I would go, and it would be a games evening, and we played Password, we played charades and everything. And I remember one was really exciting because there was Fred Astaire. We were playing charades with Fred Astaire. Oh my God! Yeah, we had a wonderful time. I loved both of them very much. Yeah, and she seemed like she was just a genuine article. She was what you got, and she was just the sweetest. She was. Everybody loved her. Yeah.
Well, we have time for one more song, and here's Carol Burnett joined by Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, and Pearl Bailey for the finale of Bing's 1972 Bing Crosby and His Friends TV special for NBC.
Isn't it warm? Isn't it cozy side by side?
Oh, this man is such a cutie.
By side, ports in a storm, comfy and cold.
He never loses his cool.
Side by side, by side, everything shines. Oh, how sweet. Side by side, by side, parallel lines. Who meet?
Love him, can't get enough of him.
Everyone winks, nobody's nose is side.
I'm Pearl. Live is
My
Pittsburgh.
You bring the drinks, I'll bring the posies. Side by
Such devotion to his money belt.
one is lonely and two is boring. Think what you can keep ignoring.
Ah, he's such a warm guy. He wears thermal shorts.
Never a father, 7 times he's a father.
You know, I kid you, Bing, but you and I have been good friends for a long time.
Yeah, we do go back a while.
How long have you two boys known each other?
We two boys met, I think, while Bing was singing at the Coconut Grove here in Los Angeles.
That's right. I remember I was making $75 a week for singing.
You made $75 a week,
Yeah.
just saying boo, 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 and then 3 more boo, boo, boo.
Yeah, for that kind of money, I wasn't going to memorize any lyrics.
I don't think
Year after year, older and older. Girls still fall at his feet. He trips them with his cane.
Sharing a tear, lending a shoulder.
Side by side,
He's a rock.
by side.
And we got fun, no strain.
Side by
If
side.
we have the strain, he has the fun.
Permanent sun, no rain. We're so crazy, he's so sane. Friendship forbids anything bitter. Side by side, by side. Being the kids as well as the sinners. Side by side, by side.
One's impossible.
But 2 is dreary.
3 is company.
4 is cheery.
Everybody loves Bob. Of course, not as much as he does.
We're always up, no gloomy canyons. How did we ever manage to find such good companions? How would we do without you? How would we ever get through?
Who would I complain to for hours?
Who bring the flowers when I had the flu?
Now who'd finish yesterday's stew? Who'll take the kids to the zoo?
Who is so dear?
And who is so deep?
And who keeps Catherine occupied when I want to sleep?
How would we ever get through? What would we do without you?
Tired of being good time girl. Tired of being a party girl. Tired of that mad social world. Gonna get away from the city den. Cook dinner if you drop in. I'm tired, but never tired of you.
What would we do without you? How would we ever get through?
Who is so safe?
Yes, and who's so sound?
You never need an analyst with Bobby around.
How would we ever get through? What would we do without you?
Oh, thanks for the memory. The unfamiliar ring, the compliments from Bing. It's just as strange as home in the range that Tiny Tim might sing. 'Cause every time I turned my back, I used to get a zing. Oh, thank you so much. What would we do without you? How would we ever get through?
Who is a flirt, but never a threat?
Reminds us of our birthdays, which we'd rather forget. How would we ever get through? What would we do without you?
I'm so glad we had this time together. Just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes a time we have to say so long.
Well, Carol, this has been an absolute honor for me to speak with you today, and I want to thank you so much for your kindness and your generosity in sharing your memories and recollections of Bing for the benefit of his fan club and my podcast listeners.
I'm glad we connected, and I'm happy you're doing all of this for Bing.
Well, see, Bing has the honor. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records twice. Once for White Christmas, and the other time he has the world's oldest active fan club.
You said 1936?
1936 it's been going on, and we publish 3 magazines a year to this day.
Huh. Oh, well, that's wonderful. Well, congratulations, Greg.
Well, thank you, and thank you again for your kindness and generosity and sharing all your memories of him. And I'll make sure you receive a copy of the magazine when it comes out.
Oh, I'd love it. Thank you, Greg.
And just to borrow a cliche I'm sure you've never heard before, but I most definitely am glad we had this time together.
Thank you. And you take care and stay well.
I will. You too, Carol. Thank you again.
Dear.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Go, Joe, go.
Well, folks, it doesn't get any better than that. I want to thank Carol again for joining me, and I want to thank all of you for joining me as well. If you have any comments about the program or any questions you'd like to ask, feel free to email me at nostalgiaradiotime@yahoo.com, and be sure to find us on Facebook and Twitter as well. So until we meet again next week, I'm Greg Van Beek saying, so long for now.